On the Atlantic edge of the Congo Basin, the Central African Republic of Cameroon lies at the gateway to the second largest tropical rainforest in the world. This rich and wildly diverse ecosystem is home to Prunus africanus. The bark of the tree contains a compound which may prove to be the magic bullet against prostate cancer. But government policy here has encouraged locals to view Prunus africanus not as a medical miracle. They see a money tree.
The Prunus africanus is overexploited by a foreign company. More than 60% of all the world production of Prunus africana comes from the forest of Cameroon. And obviously this is done in a non-sustainable way. The part of the tree which is taken for medical purposes is the tree barks. And by taking the tree barks, you can easily kill the whole tree.
Samuel Nguiffo is the director of the Center for Environment and Development in the capital city of Yaoundé. He is as much at ease addressing the directors of the World Bank as he is listening to the problems of the indigenous Baka people, often incorrectly referred to as Pygmies.
The forest is the heart of the Baka life, the Baka culture. They get everything from the forest, and they believe that they were put into the forest directly by God.
Over the last several years, Cameroon has become Africa's biggest exporter of timber.
Baka people say that when they hear this noise of a tree falling, then that is when the forest cries.
As loggers clear the rainforest, poachers sweep in behind the heavy equipment. Gorillas, chimpanzees, and other indigenous wildlife are now easy prey. A slaughtered gorilla brings the equivalent of $30 to its killer. The government has neither the resources nor the manpower to intervene.
Many of the indigenous people have to move because of logging activities. They have to look for places where they'll have a better access to bushmeat, to forest products, and this is a problem as well. They also have to face new diseases they did not know before, like malaria, for example, was not known by many of the Baka people in the forest, and many indigenous people in the east and in the south are now infected with the AIDS.
But logging abuses are compounded by a new threat. Permits have been issued to 3 multinational companies to build a 1,000-kilometer oil pipeline from neighboring Chad to storage terminals off Cameroon's Atlantic coast.
We did not really trust the will of the companies to take into account the right of the people along the pipeline and the environmental concerns and social concerns of the people and of the whole country.
Nguiffo's novel approach to halting the current devastation springs from a little-known but progressive provision in Cameroon's new forestry law.
The provision in the law for community forests grants communities the possibility of controlling their own resources. And when local communities control their own resources, there is much more of a chance of these resources being managed in a sustainable way.
The Community Forest Plan may be the last chance to stem the destruction of Cameroon's rainforest.
Nigeria and other West African countries have already lost their forest, and this is the last chance for Cameroon. This clearly means that if nothing is done now, what happened to Nigeria and other African countries will happen here. In 5 to 10 years, the forest will be gone in Cameroon. I think nobody wants this to happen, maybe except the loggers.
Nguiffo is taking the campaign to the international stage. He is Africa's only representative to CEO's Process, a global group of logging CEOs and directors of conservation organizations from developing countries.
We have to clearly say that the forest is disappearing and that we can't continue with this unsustainable way of using the forest.
For outstanding environmental achievement in Africa, a 1999 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Samuel Nguiffo of Yaoundé, Cameroon.